Hi, I'm Andy Burt. Climate change is definitely the biggest problem that we're facing right now. As a grandmother, I feel this great urgency to do something. The Down to Earth Storytelling Project is capturing on film stories of climate justice activists that can connect people to this growing movement. You know, I really set out basically 2 years ago with this passion. You know, I started out thinking I would do an audio and just do a PowerPoint with it, and I'm so glad that some of my young friends said, listen, no, you can do a video. When I watch the video and hear the stories, I am so moved by them.
When people tell their stories, they bring it down to the level where you can tell about a small thing that may have big impact. Whereas what you read and what's out there is all about global this. It feels so big that what am I going to do?
We're about to have talks in Paris with world leaders about climate change. And while some good things may come out of that, the real power for things to happen remains with the people behind the scenes, all of us. In the 1980s, I had the experience of bringing Central American people and their compelling human rights abuse stories into mainstream Indiana communities. People in those communities weren't aware of issues in Central America, and they certainly weren't involved. These stories sparked the creation of refugee sanctuaries in communities where one never would have expected them. Many people don't want to be the first person on the block to put up solar or to do things. People who have done it need to say, guess what? This is what I've done. This is how I'm part of the solution. By chipping in to help with this project, we can get a powerful film of stories along with a workbook for people to go deeper to understand the roots of their own values and their passions, and to therefore also have that kind of grounding that gives you the energy that you need over the long haul. This is something that a high school civics class could do. There's senior colleges that have courses. It could be an environmental justice course. The project that we're creating with the film is really adaptable. So there are ways for people to share what we've created, both as simply as watching the film or also participating in a workshop either virtually or right here in Maine. So now I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce you to some of the amazing activists that we filmed and to give you a taste of some of their stories.
This is kind of an unlikely story you're hearing here because I was working as a corporate lawyer. I worked for Texaco. After that, I worked in 2 chemical companies.
I actually, in West Virginia, had a roommate for a short time. She was a flower child, and she said, you know, the revolution is coming. And I said, I don't think so, but I'm glad you're saying that, you know. That seemed naive to me. But it was interesting to me that anyone was interested in change, and that she came from some other place where that was possible.
It's sort of like if you're playing rugby, you'll never get a great baseball game. And that's what we're doing. We're playing this game where even if you play that game beautifully and perfectly, it's never going to solve the problem that we have. We have a problem that can't be solved by the political game we're playing right now, and so you have to change the rules of the game.
The beginning of my sophomore year of college, I co-founded Divest Harvard. And we literally started with 3 people. There were 2 other co-founders, but we launched a campaign and we built it for 3 years.
I felt the trees, like when they fell and impacted the ground, the vibrations. I was also up in a tree, and in a way I don't often articulate to people, because in the way it feels really sacred. I feel like I really experienced the fear and the targeting that happens when you confront these sort of systems, and it was really scary, and I felt really vulnerable, and that's something I'm really proud of.
What mattered to me, what she said, was that she would lay down her life for this. And it was around the tar sands and the destruction of her land. And again, I thought, well, if she can do that, I can get up and speak in front of people, even if it gives me stomach aches or headaches or sleepless nights or whatever it is.
I think, you know, that moment when I said, I will start a group, it was like, you don't have a choice. There's these tar sands going to come to your little town and go down this creepy little pipe. And there isn't a choice, because this is going to affect the outcome on the planet. This makes a difference.
South Portland was in the position of being the only person, the only city, town, whatever, village along the way that could put a plug in that pipeline.
So aquaponics is like another, I'm very into these projects, and they always start out having like some crazy idea, and some of them are crazy and we find that out, but others, you know, we actually, electric cars, one of them.
We've been on the bleeding edge of a few different technologies.
Like the electric car, when we first got it, I was like, is this gonna work? I had no idea it was actually gonna work.
So what I think is happening is that there's this ferment going on throughout the globe, and I'm finding more and more that everything fits together. The other day I was sitting with a friend and I said, you know, at the moment it's like you have a pond, you throw in some stones, each one of them has a circle, and now the circles are beginning to touch.
So you've met some of the activists that we've talked to, and you've watched clips of some of their stories. Oh, there's so much more that we want to share. And with your help, we can finish the film, we can finish the journaling workbook, and take this workshop out into communities where people are starting to wake up and to ask, what can I do about this urgent challenge of climate change? Thank you so much for your support.